Alright guys, it's Eric again. Welcome back to your Swedish tutorial with the back. This is the third step in the back massage. So what we're going to do now is called pushing away the erectors. We call them making moons. Okay, so we already have cream on there. I'll put just a little bit more on there. Now what I like to do is put my fingers just like this. So it's my middle finger and my ring finger. We call these kissing fingers because they are touching. So I'm creating a point right in there, and that's what I'm going to be pushing the erector spinae group away from the spine. So I'm standing on the opposite side of the body, and I'm working on this side of his body. So you want to be working from the opposite direction. Starting with the lumbar spine, I'm going to find the spinous process. I'm going to sink down into, if this is the spinous process and this is the transverse process, I'm going to find the spinous process, sink down, and then start pushing. Now the way we think about the erector spinae group is we have a base, which is closest to me, the peak, which is the highest point of the erector spinae group, and then the other base. Okay, so we have, so I'm changing it, the base, the peak, and another base. All right, I want to be pushing at the first base, okay? And I'm not going past the peak, okay? You see how I have the body moving in here? So don't be afraid to move the body. All right, and this is just pushing at the base. And I stop about 2 or 3 inches from the superior angle of the scapula. So stopping right about there. So I'm not going all the way down to the neck. Okay, once I'm done with that, I can swipe down. I can go again if I want. I typically don't go with the moons back down. You can if you want. If it works for you, awesome. If not, that's good too. Like I said, what I do is I come up, swipe down, and you can start again. You can do that once, twice, 3 times. Your next way to do the moons is where you're using a little bit less pressure, and you're going to go past the first base of the mountain, past the peak, and all the way to the second base. So you're using less pressure, and you're going all over the mountain as you circle back. So it's using a little bit more, less pressure, a little bit more circulatory. The other way is going to allow you to use a little bit more pressure, the first way. The reason why we do moons is as the erector spinae group gets tight, it's going to get tight and compress in. So this is a nice way of priming the erectors before our next step, which is going to be stripping. Okay. For stripping, we're going to use 3-finger stripping. So I'm going to take, it doesn't matter really which hand you use. If you want to use your right hand or your left hand, it doesn't really matter. You want to have your arm elongated. You want to have your wrist locked, elbow locked, shoulder nice and depressed and supported in there. So this whole thing is going to be nice and locked. The first contact hand you see here is going to be the tool. Your second hand you're going to bring right on top. This is going to be the pressure that I'm using to push on the base hand. Okay, so I'm not overextending too much with this. The top hand, the wrist is going to bend a little bit because it is cradling the base hand in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the erector spinae group. I'm going to go for 3 strips. I want to be in a bow stance right here, so my position won't be that great so you can, because we're filming here. But I'm going to come down, strip. I'm going to come onto the sacrum, so I'm past the posterior iliac crest. I'm going to come onto the glute, and then I'm going to spread my hand and just gently swipe back. It's a nice way of kind of erasing the strip. Okay, when we do the erector spinae strip group in there, there are 3 muscles in here, longissimus, iliocostalis, and spinalis. So for the first part of this, we can pretty much strip in the same spot in between the medial port of the scapula and the vertebral column. Once we get past the inferior angle of the scapula, we can deviate out laterally just a little bit each time, so we get 3 strips. Ideally that's encompassing the entire erector spinae group. Honestly, to get the biggest bang for your buck though, you want to stay and strip on the peak of the erector spinae group each and every time. That's where you'll be able to get the greatest release from the erector spinae group. As we go onto the sacrum to the side and drag back. And that's going to be stripping the erectors and pushing, priming the erectors with the moons. Hopefully this was helpful. Make sure you leave your comments below. Let me know if you like this or not. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button and let me know what you think. Alright? We'll see you next time.